Hello, mysterious person behind the screen, and welcome back to our final commentary in this batch of Doctor Who audio commentaries. I'm once again joined by Isaac.
Hungry.
And this time we are on to the 7th Doctor, and we are doing the extended cut of Paradise Towers, kind of to celebrate the recent release of Season 24 on Blu-ray. We're doing the version of the story that made its debut on that excellent Blu-ray set. So, without further ado...
If you'd like to sync this up with the extended version of Paradise Towers on Disc 4 of the Season 24 Blu-ray, put the episode to play all and press play in 3, 2, 1, go. So this story is it's definitely my favourite of the season.
I was going to say a lot of people do consider it the best of the season. I think a few years ago, kind of Dragonfire held that position, but I think in recent years, this story has kind of gone through a bit of a reappraisal. I think
it has too. I mean, yeah, Dragonfire, I'd probably put that at number 3. I mean, I think it's the most overrated, underrated story.
I would agree. Yeah.
Because everyone, I mean, a lot of people say it's the best of Season 24 and, like, the only flicker of hope in that season, but I wouldn't go that far. I think it's okay, but
yeah,
nothing ice hot like this story.
Ah, yes, of course. I mean, I have more fun watching this and Delta and the Bannermen than I do Dragonfire.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
God, it's so rare to see the 7th Doctor in the TARDIS.
It is, yeah. It's kind of a rare oddity and a rare treat for this era, I think. It's always nice when we do.
It is, yeah.
Now,
have you seen the studio footage for this story yet?
I've flicked through it. I haven't watched it all, but I have flicked through it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've not watched it all in one go because I've not got 4 hours to dedicate.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's become a meme on Twitter. There's the scene of the Doctor grabbing his umbrella and taking the TARDIS console with him.
Yes, I've seen that clip, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not entirely sure what is new in this extended cut. I'm not too sure, like, the exact differences. But
well, Ben Teds is doing a... He's doing a comparison on his Google Drive.
Yeah.
He's so far got up to Mysterious Planet, and I'm not sure what this is about 30 seconds longer than the transmitted version for Part 1, but I think Part 2 has the most editions with about 2 to 3 minutes, but the longest one on the set entirely is Delta and the Bannerman Part 1, it's about 5 minutes longer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was going to say Part 2 of this is the longest of the bunch, isn't it, for the edition?
Yeah.
But,
I think for Part 2, there's another scene of the cleaners attacking the Doctor.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't say what else is new. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Ben Ted's doing that is he's doing the Lord's work, because that is such a cool resource. Because some of these stories I've only seen once, so it's very difficult for me to remember what is different about them in a way. So it's cool that he's doing this one and go, oh, okay, that bit's new.
But yeah, I love that they've added these new additions because, again, it makes buying these shortened seasons more worth it.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's Season 24. It's only 4 stories, but it's a thicker set. Like, it's thicker than Season 12 or 10, for example, which has more stories, so it's interesting. But it's cool, I like it. And who'd have thought we'd live in a world that this season, which is always voted as one of the weakest seasons of all, gets this deluxe package. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, Richard Lloyd has gone as far as to say this is better than Season 26. I mean, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah. I think because of this Blu-ray set, I have grown to like it a bit more. I mean, I like Delta and the Bannerman a lot more than I did when I first ever watched it, because I just saw it as stupid kid stuff. But I was also an angsty teenager who hated anything colourful and friendly.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, yeah.
Yeah, now that I've grown up and come to embrace how mad Doctor Who can be, I've grown to like it more. It's Delta and the Bannerman does surprise me, because it starts out as such a rock and roll kind of fairy tale adventure with a princess, a queen, a romance, and then part 2, see you later, alligator, in a wild crocodile, bang, all those alien tourists are dead.
Die, yeah, exactly. I feel like that everyone's personal arc with season 24 is that they hate it at first when they first watch all the stories, and then over the years, and this is true for me as well, you gain a new appreciation for it.
You do, yeah.
Because it is just a pure fun. It's I always class it as the party ring season of Doctor Who. It's a bit too sweet. Yeah, bit too sweet. I class it as like it's like the holiday gone wrong. Because if you look at it, most of the time, the 7th Doctor and Mel, they're just after a holiday, but everything just going wrong and they're running into danger. And and honestly, looking at season 24 again, I've grown to like Mel a lot more, because I find her a breath of fresh air after pretty much nearly all the 80s companions that came before her, because they either didn't want to be there, kept moaning, always argued with the Doctor, and they're getting on and she just wants to have fun. Yeah, she doesn't annoy me like she used to, and that's I'll admit Bonnie Langford's performance is a bit too theatrical at points. Like, she just tends to over-enunciate things. Yeah. But again, most of her background was in theatre, and it is hard to go from theatre to TV. In fact, the funny thing is, if you look at her time on Doctor Who when she was on like Saturday Superstore, I think she promoted her being in Peter Pan more than she was in Doctor Who. Yeah, that. I mean, that says a lot about the public perception of the show at the time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's interesting, because I believe there's an interview on this set, which I'm sure I've seen before. It was at the 50th celebration in 2013, and she talked about on there, like, when she was doing the show, it was considered. Its public perception was not high.
Definitely, yeah. But, Jonathan Powell, who friggin' despised the series, said he was pretty enthusiastic towards this season. He really liked, I think, Paradise Towers, and said, I'd love to see a sequel to it with Daleks.
Yeah, but, why not? Daleks versus Caretakers.
Yeah, and at least they commissioned 2 more seasons after this. It wasn't the end just yet. And funnily enough, I do think, even though it was up against Coronation Street, the viewing figures went slightly up from season 23, but 26 they plummeted to a new low, unfortunately.
It's wow. Yeah, exactly. It's just many people would argue just as the show was getting really good again.
In fact, I'd argue that season 24, it reminds me a lot of the Graham Williams era.
Yes, same here.
It's just you haven't got a lot of the wit that Robert Holmes and Anthony Reid and Douglas Adams, I think, had. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting, because it is totally the campest season in Doctor Who history, and I don't think anyone would dispute that. It is the silliest, campest, goofiest season in the show, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Like when, like you said, you're an angsty teen and hated Delta and the Bannermen. I kind of had that as well, but with this story, funnily enough, because I think I was just a bit too young to kind of catch what it was doing, and all I saw was the surface level stuff, like the yellow crab and the I'm Pex and I put the world of Paradise Towers to rights and all that. In fact, I think if you go back to some of my older videos when I was really young, you'll see me slagging this off. And I think I was just too. I think I was just too young to kind of appreciate what it was doing. And that's what I mean, what I said earlier. I think as you get older, you start to appreciate these a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to one Twitter user who said this is the worst piece of TV he's ever seen.
Oh, come on now.
You can't have seen much TV if this really is the worst.
Yeah, exactly. It's I'm never bored during this season, put it that way.
Yeah, it's the holiday season, and also, I've got to give it credit, they got some... Considering that so many people thought that Doctor Who was dying at this point and not in the public eye, they got so many big-name stars in this. Kate O'Mara, Richard Bryars, Ken Dodd, of course, Stubby K, Edward Peel, Patricia Quinn, you know, big stars. And heck, if you look at the season 24 trailer that they did for the Blu-ray, they do promote the cast members, which I think is cool. And Richard Bryars did pop up in a Torchwood episode.
Yes, he did. It was Day in the Death, wasn't it?
Yeah, he plays the old millionaire.
Yeah. I think that was the last Torchwood episode I watched before I just jumped off the series, because I lost a bit of interest.
I'm surprised you didn't drop off earlier in Series 1.
Well, I didn't, because everyone told me that it got better, so I kind of stuck through Series 1. And I enjoyed bits of it, and Series 2 was better, but I just sort of lost a bit of interest, and I was like, I'll go back to this another day.
Yeah.
The box set's there, it's not going away.
Now, originally, the cleaner robots were not going to be robots, they were actually going to be big tentacles that would suck people into the walls. But that didn't go... JNT obviously knew we can't really do that on a budget, so he said, make them robot cleaners instead. Yeah. And to be honest, I quite like them. I'm amazed there's not a Paradise Towers B&M set. You could have Chief Caretaker, the robot cleaner, and that robot crab that goes in the swimming pool.
Yeah, the pull back and go function on the cleaners.
Yep. Now the Kangs, according to Stephen Wyatt, each colour is based on a political party of the UK. Red, Labour; blue, Tory; yellow, Lib Dem.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the kind of stuff that you don't really catch when you're younger, I think. And that's kind of boosts this story up.
And originally the caretakers, they were supposed to be really fat, disgusting slobs, because they were establishing that all the fit young men had gone off to a war and they pretty much left all the women behind and all the people who couldn't fight behind. But again, it just got lost when it came to the screen. And also Pex is a main example. He was supposed to be a big Schwarzenegger type buff guy, but obviously I think they tried to look, but they just couldn't find any actors could act. I think they were too wooden for the comedy to work. So yeah, the thing about Pex is that he doesn't bother me. It's just he's a small guy trying to be a hero. I think that's what they're kind of going for more here.
Yeah, and I think that does work mostly.
Yeah. I remember on the classic Doctor Who website, I clicked on this story with no knowledge of what it was about, and the image they used to promote this is the Chief Caretaker scowling at the 7th Doctor, and I thought, oh, does the Doctor meet Hitler in this one?
Yeah, honestly, I can see why you thought that. To be fair, this as a kid, this was kind of the 7th Doctor story that I didn't hear much about, really. Like, I just...
True, yeah.
And I remember seeing the DVD cover as well, and just didn't... the rest of the stories in his era are quite... They stuck out to me as a kid, even if I hadn't seen them, whereas this was kind of... I didn't hear much about it.
I hated the DVD booklet text for this. It's a good job Harry His Hill TV book didn't exist back then, because this story is open to ridicule. Oh, cheers, I just bought this.
Yeah.
Thanks for telling me I've wasted my money on something crap.
Yeah. I mean,
again, it's that thing going back to... I mean, someone made a good tweet the other day about the Blu-ray sets. Like, so far, no season has been neglected. They've all got equal treatment, regardless of story quality, which I do like, because someone's shite might be someone's gold.
Exactly.
Yeah, so... Yeah, and I'm glad that... yeah, because I was reading the... booklet text for this season on the Blu-ray, and when they get to reception I thought, are they going to start slagging it off? But no, they don't. They just say the viewing figures and where it came in the 2014 poll, and I'm glad they don't do that, because
same, yeah,
imagine if you bought Time Lash, no knowledge of what it's about, you think, a half-man, half-monster thing that the Sixth Doctor has to face, I wonder if this is any good. Time Lash is not regarded as a good Doctor Who story.
Yeah.
Oh, cheers.
Funnily enough, I think that was my journey with Time Lash, or near as damn it.
Yeah. Heck, it doesn't even end on an optimistic note. The text, it just says, Time Lash isn't that bad.
Yeah.
You're really filling me with confidence here, aren't you?
That said, I would like to see Harry Hill's TV book cover this.
Yes, this is why I don't go swimming without armbands. In case I get attacked by a robot.
See, I like blue Kangs, and I like red Kangs, but which is better? There's only one way to find out. Fight!
Oh yes, of course, these two young ladies are inviting these two old ladies are inviting this young lady round for tea. Can you say Hansel and Gretel? The Rezzies, if you take an R off that and put an L in front of that, well, that's not good for tea time entertainment, is it?
Oh, God. I mean, I will say, this disc has probably the best Doctor Who disc art I've ever seen.
It does. The Tilda and Tabby putting Mel in a net and about to eat her.
Yeah.
Just, wow. Bit hypocritical of Mel to gorge on that cake when she's supposed to be a health and fitness fanatic.
Yes, yeah, that's that part of her character was always it never really came up as much as I think they intended it to.
It was only really with the Sixth Doctor.
Yeah.
Another thing that amazes me about this box set is all the hours of content they digged up.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Elton the Bannerman has 6 hours of location footage. I'm like, wow.
It's amazing all this stuff is kept.
Yeah, I genuinely thought it was lost in the midst of time, and it does give me hope for other 80s seasons as well, because I know Vengeance on Varos, there's like 5-10 minutes worth of studio footage on the DVD, so who knows, maybe they'll dig up more for the eventual Blu-ray.
I think so, because I mean, like we've said before, a lot of the reason there was only 10 minutes or so, or half an hour or so on the DVDs was because of space on the DVDs, right? With Blu-ray you can hold a lot more, so I think it's cool that they're doing that.
And apparently in the middle of recording, JNT called Richard Bryars and Clive Merrison down, pretty much had a private chat with them and saying, "You're taking the piss." Richard Bryars apparently said, "He started it," pointing to Clive Merrison. But I do think Richard Bryars is really good in this. I just don't think he succeeds when he's possessed by Coagnon.
Yeah.
That's too far, it's just too silly.
Yeah.
When you think about it, this story was kind of remade in the new series with, I'd argue, gridlock. Except obviously in a tower block. it's in a bunch of cars in a traffic jam.
Yeah.
But again, you get different characters living there, and again, you've got 2 old women there.
Yeah.
So hopefully they're not cannibals. Nell really confuses me in this story. She gets attacked by robot cleaners, goes up and down in a lift, gets nearly eaten, and she still wants to go swimming.
All she wants to do is go swimming in a swimming pool. That's all she wants to do.
Yeah. Because I think these 2 play Tilda and Tabby are great.
Yeah, they are. They go for it. They completely go for it.
I think they know what type of... They know that it's supposed to be dark humour, and they fully embrace it, the actors.
It's proper black comedy.
And to be honest, it is a black comedy, and if this was in season 21 or 22, everyone would probably end up dead by the end.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But by the end, the Doctor's able to unite everyone in Paradise Towers.
Yeah. I love Mal's face when Pax introduces himself.
Brilliant. Like, really? And I hope whenever season 25 gets the Blu-ray treatment, there is extended edits of all the episodes.
I hope so. They've set a precedent for it now. I really hope they do.
I do like the lighting in this as well. It is very dark and grim.
It is good, yeah.
Not bright white light. And I also like how there's straw and weeds on the floor to suggest it's been overrun and abandoned.
Yeah.
Like society's literally given up.
Yeah, the set design and the production design in this is very good.
So I'm not a big fan of the music by Keith McCulloch.
What was it? It was done in a week, wasn't it? It was done really short time.
Honestly, I've listened to David Snell's original score because it's on the Blu-ray, and I think it's much better. It matches what's going on screen. It's like it matches like the darker tone that it's going for, but McCulloch's music just sounds like a game show, particularly when the cleaner's taking the dead bodies in the box and the legs hanging out. It genuinely looks like the start of a game show.
Yeah, it's...
Tonight on Bring Up the Bodies.
Crank up your granny. Yeah, no, it's you can definitely tell that it was done in a week, put it that way. It's, Yeah. It's cool that, like, that the original score does exist, though, and we can compare.
Yeah, Mark of the Rani also has an alternate score, but on part 1 only.
Oh, yeah.
I just realised the McCoy era only had 3 composers in total: Keith McCulloch, Dominic Glynn, and Mark Ayres.
Yeah, which... it's kind of nice because it means the music is more consistent across the whole era, in a way.
Speaking of music, I was thinking about this the other day. Is Time Lash the only Doctor Who serial that has music composed by a woman?
I think so. Yeah. I think
Elizabeth Parker, I think, did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the only Doctor Who serial composed with music composed by a woman. That is...
It's kind of mental.
It is, yeah. That's such an odd cliffhanger. What should we do with him now, then, Chief? Kill him.
Yeah.
And the Doctor doesn't even look scared. He looks a bit more... Aww, really?
Isn't there an error on one of these credits on one of the stories for the Blu-ray? Isn't the text like green or something? I'm sure I saw that on Twitter a few weeks ago.
I don't know.
I think it's like on Delta and the Bannermen Part 3 or something. Like one of the credits is green. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look out for that.
I demand the BBC issue replacement discs.
Oh, yeah. I remember people joking before this was announced, saying, "Ooh, when season 24 comes out, it won't sell out." I think it has, though, hasn't it? Like all the collection box sets.
Yeah, they've all sold. I mean, yeah, it's about time we get another one. Surely, like another announcement of one.
Yeah, because this was announced January, and
yeah.
I don't know when we get another.
Well, usually,
I mean, who knows? We could get one. October, maybe November.
I think we'll get at least one more this year. I mean, this is the thing. Like, by the time this commentary goes out,
we could probably know.
Yeah, it could have already been announced, but I don't. Yeah, because usually they would announce the next one like a month or two before the current one coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm amazed how the time span between the announcement of Evil of the Daleks to when it's coming out. I mean, I think we all knew because the animation footage leaked. But anyway, the official announcement was, a week ago for a September 27th release. And think back to 2019, they announced the Faceless ones and Fury from the Deep, but they weren't going to come out until 2020.
Oh god, yeah, I remember the Faceless ones. No, sorry, Fury from the Deep especially was there for like 10 months, wasn't it? Like pre-order pages.
It was, yeah.
And everyone was like, when is this actually, what is happening with it?
I mean, yeah, if we're lucky, they could do Abominable Snowmen by Christmas and maybe Galaxy 4 for next year.
Abominable Snowmen will be a good one for Christmas.
Yeah, because it is because again, it's a winter story, it's set in the Himalayas.
Yeah, I wonder what they'll do for that though, because of course the actual story, or the clips and images that exist of it, obviously it was meant to be surrounded by snow, but there wasn't actually any snow on the location. There was like minimal snow. So it's. I wonder if for the animation they'll actually put all the snow in there, or do you think they'll keep it like accurate to how it was?
They might keep it accurate because the purists would complain.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw Josh Schneer's new video.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting his theory about the fact that they're coming to the end of the initial package that BBC America ordered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what the future is.
Now, Richard Briers' wife was Jenny in the Dalek Invasion of Earth.
Yes. Did we mention that in our Dalek Invasion of Earth commentary? I can't remember. But
I think we might.
We might have done, yeah.
I mean, it is great seeing some of these actors pop up again in things like Torchwood and the Sarah Jane Adventures.
Yes, yeah. The spin-offs are always fun to watch out for stuff like that.
I mean, wasn't Ace going to be in the planned Series 6 of Sarah Jane Adventures?
Yes, she was, yeah, and they were... I heard somewhere they were talking about bringing Tom Baker in.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that, yeah.
But I don't know if that was literally just discussions or how far that actually got. But
it amazes me that more companions have come back on the Sarah Jane Adventures than they have on the new series of Doctor Who.
Yeah, it's
because we've had the Brigadier and Joe Grant.
It's pretty incredible when you think about it. But I always say, Sarah Jane would probably still be on today if Elizabeth Sladen was still alive. But I wonder what they would have done about the kids, because obviously I would imagine they would have wanted to keep the show focused around younger audiences. So and considering the main cast were kind of getting older by the time Series 5 was rolling around, I don't know. Do you think they would have introduced new kids? Or I don't know. They might have done,
yeah. Might have done, yeah. They could have said Clyde and Rani go to university. Maybe keep Sky, who was a new character in Series 5. Maybe introduce someone who's a bit younger.
Yeah, I think they would kind of have to do that.
I wonder, would they have brought back Mel as well? But then I realised she doesn't stay on Earth. She's with Sabalon Glitz.
Oh yeah. She. I mean, they could do that.
There should have been a line in Sarah Jane Adventures. And there's a woman called Mel. She's a computer programmer. Oh, she does so much hacking with her friend Sabalon Glitz.
Yeah, I like that as well. She's a computer programmer. That almost never comes up.
No, it never does.
It's literally just there because I think it's like in the 80s that was considered quite a big thing, wasn't it? To be a computer programmer.
Yeah, because when I think Mel, I don't think computer programmer, I just think health and fitness fanatic. This music here, it's so...
Yeah.
Also plays that... This week on Bring Up the Bodies.
Yeah.
If the writers of Venom saw this and thought, this is what will make Venom say all the time, hungry.
Oh god.
I'd have had the Doctor trying to reason with Croagnon and Croagnon saying, "See, Doctor, on my planet, I'm a loser too."
Jesus Christ. Bloody hell, that film.
Plus, I love this of the Seventh Doctor. He uses the rule book to try and get away. It's such a Doctorish thing to do.
Even in this, I think his more comedic incarnation here, you can see the seeds of what he would go on to do in 25 and especially 26.
Because I think, given how clownish he is in season 24, I actually think the Sixth Doctor's outfit suits him better.
Yes, yeah, it does look really cool on him.
And I only discovered recently that he didn't have an outfit made to fit him, he just had to wear Colin Baker's.
Yeah.
You know.
And you can see it.
So the over 6 foot outfit going onto a 5'3" 5'3" man. Yeah. Colin Baker on behind the sofa says, "I was told," Sylvester said, "oh, it's too big for me." And I just said, "No, you're too small for it."
The behind the sofa for this season, they're so funny from what I've seen.
Yeah, I'm glad they got the two 80s Doctors to look on this.
Yeah.
And I think one of my favourite moments is on Time and the Rani when the 7th Doctor gets into the 5th Doctor's outfit and Peter Davison just says, "Forget it."
I like the yeah, what's he say? He's like, "Oh, I would have liked to have had a wink like Sylvester, just to have been given the opportunity."
I think they were gonna try it for the 6th Doctor, but they settled on the smiling face instead. Yeah. I never liked the wink anyway.
Oh, really?
No, it's a bit too much for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because it's not till Delta and the Bannerman as well that he gets his question mark umbrella. Here it's just a normal one.
You're right, yeah. Yeah. That's... And I always forget that as well.
And this story does feel like the 7th Doctor era has truly began, because it's one of those stories that for some time doesn't make any references to the past. It might be the first since maybe I'm wanting to say Black Orchid, maybe. that doesn't
Probably.
make too many references to the past.
Yeah, you're. Oh God, you're probably right. Yeah. Does the Awakening?
Oh yeah, The Awakening doesn't have
Yeah, that's
that many
quite
references to the past. Yeah,
standalone.
yeah, because if you look at seasons 18 to 20 in particular, they're very much
Oh yeah.
one after the other, a bit like the Hartnell years,
Yeah, they're chock full. Yeah, yeah.
which Eric Sayward apparently hated doing that.
That's a great shot there. The silhouette of the Doctor.
Yeah, I do like the use of levels here. It's not just one long corridor. It does feel like a real functioning place.
It's an impressive set. This whole the square especially, and the way the camera moves as well. It's really well done.
I actually thought they built a swimming pool for this, but no, they used a real one. I remember.
Yeah. Because didn't Bonnie Langford hate water or something?
I think she didn't hate water. It's just the water was freezing cold.
Yeah.
And it's on the location footage. She starts acting, but then she just stops. It's like, no, it's too cold. I've got to get out. Because the water wasn't heated. Because I think the house had been pretty much left behind, and all hadn't been taken care of.
I feel like Bonnie Langford would play this differently now.
Definitely, yeah, because she's done a lot more TV.
Well, EastEnders, isn't she? She's been in that for years.
Yeah. And also, having looked at Sylvester McCoy's screen tests and the other actors who auditioned, you just look at his and you say, yeah, he was definitely the right one for the part.
Yeah, I completely agree. The other actors, they're doing their own thing, but it's so clear that he was the right choice.
Plus, this scene here is new for the extended edition.
Oh, is it? Okay, cool.
That's the only one I can name. Yeah, because that scene where he's against the Iron Woman, played by Janet Fielding.
Yes.
It's great how he goes from kind of like the bumbling idiot to saying, well, to answer the second question first, I'm the Doctor, and then shouting at her, sit down!
Yes,
that's great. Really good. I'm surprised she didn't mention that on Behind the Sofa.
Yeah, I'm surprised as well. I mean, why did they get her to do it?
I don't know.
She's just around.
Nearest one, just around, and yeah. Because I know she went on to be an agent, I think, representing quite a few people. In fact, JNT even asked her for representation, she had to turn him down.
Which is quite a common theme with Doctor Who companions, isn't it? I swear quite a few of them have gone on to be agents.
Yeah, Jackie Lane as well.
Yeah. Didn't she represent Wendy Pabry?
I think so. Yeah. I think she was a teacher at the. She might have been a teacher at the National Youth Theatre, where she tutored Matt Smith.
Yeah. I've heard that. Yeah.
And apparently at the infamous after party,
oh God,
he saw her there, having not seen her in ages, and just gave her a big hug.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Oh, it's Judy Cornwall.
Yeah.
She's in Santa Claus the movie, the one with David Huddleston.
She is. God, I've not seen that in years. haven't seen that since I was a kid.
Yeah, neither have I. It's like Superman the movie, but with Santa instead of Superman. It's like the origin story for Santa. And I mean, again, it was done by the Salkinds.
I was going to say it's the same producers, isn't it? The Salkinds. Yeah. I regret, actually, a few years ago I saw that in a charity shop on Blu-ray. And I wish I got it, actually.
I can't remember, but I think Santa in that film has to fight an evil businessman, like Lex Luthor.
It's John Lithgow, isn't it? That's the thing I remember.
Santa, Santa takes a kid a ride in his sledge, kind of like Superman does with Lois Lane. Then they go for a fly together.
People love sequels this year. Christmas 2.
Or just so how are we making the Santa Claus movie? Or just copy a Superman movie and put Santa in. Heck, they both live in the ice, don't they? Yeah, that Not You Again, it makes a bit more sense now because he's only just escaped them.
You're right, yeah. That does actually fill in that gap quite well, yeah. That's a killer scream from Sylvester there.
Yeah. Yeah, have you seen the In Conversation with Matthew Sweet?
I haven't yet, no.
It's really good. They talk about his early career and, there is footage of him putting a nail up his nose.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And putting a ferret down his trousers.
I mean, that's the constant thing, isn't it? Everyone always says, "Oh, putting ferrets down your trousers." Everyone always says that.
Yeah, and his real name is Percy James Patrick Kent Smith, I think.
It is, yeah.
Oh, he likes to be called Kent Smith, apparently.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. Also, I remember the sad rumor a few weeks ago that Tony Selby had died.
Yes.
But it was a producer who had sadly passed away.
Yes, it turned out to be a completely different Tony Selby.
Yeah, it was Toby Haydock who started to dispute it because even Nicola Bryant tweeted something saying I'm very sorry that he's died, he was great to work with.
Yeah,
I'm glad he's not dead.
I think everyone was kind of quick to believe it because I've seen a few people who've met him at conventions in the last few years and he has looked quite frail, so I think that's probably why people were quite quick to actually believe it. But
yeah, and I think bringing him back for season 24 was JNT's idea because his role in Dragonfight was going to be an original character written by Ian Briggs, but JNT said, you know what, let's bring Glitz back, and I'm kind of glad they did.
I am as well. He's quite a nice character. I am glad they brought him back.
I just love how he automatically accepts the Doctor looks different now. He just goes, "Here, you're not the Doctor. I've regenerated." Oh.
Yeah. That sums his character up, I think.
Yeah, then again, he did hang around with the Master, so maybe he knew about Time Lords and regeneration.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
I love how he had to grab the umbrella to put it down.
Yeah.
He didn't just use his hand. This makes me crave some lemonade right now. Ice hot.
Ice hot. There's that refrain.
Yeah. Also, one of these Kangs is I can't remember the actress's name, but she was the female programmer in Bad Wolf and the Parting of the Ways, and also Tracy Beaker fans will know her as Elaine the Pain, the social worker.
Yeah. Yes, I can't remember which one she is off the top of my head.
I know one of these Kangs is Mark Strickson's wife.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah. I do like the voice for Cro-Agnon. It's done by Richard Breers, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Hungry. Hungry.
I'm going to eat, Mrs. Chen.
I want a caretaker. No, I can't give you a caretaker. Pussy.
That film often feels like a fever dream. I often feel like I've imagined that film, to be honest.
Oh, same here. I think it's the Room of superhero movies.
Yeah.
It's so batshit crazy and batshit stupid, you can't help but watch it.
Yes, I agree, yeah. Tom Hardy in a fish tank full of lobsters.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting the sequel this year.
Yeah.
Let There Be... There's gonna be carnage.
Which is... I looked on Letterboxd the other day, and interestingly, in the cast list for that, it lists J.K. Simmons and Tom Holland. So, Christ knows if that's going to end up crossing over with the MCU, because I feel like these Sony films are desperate to.
I think they are, yeah.
It was like in the Morbius trailer, Michael Keaton pops up as Adrian Toomes, and it's like, this is going to complicate everything, isn't it?
Yep. If Tom Holland is in it as Spider-Man, it makes me sad that we might not get to see him have the black suit story arc.
Well, apparently, if he is in it, he won't be allowed to wear the MCU Spider-Man suit, so he won't be he won't be in his standard costume. So I'm just in my head thinking of this weird, like, Poundland version of the Spider-Man costume that he might be wearing because of the whole rights issue thing.
Such a shame Pex dies at the end. He's such a nice guy.
Hashtag Pex
He
lives.
didn't deserve that. Yeah. I mean, Howard, the guy who plays Pex, did suggest to JNT we could do a sequel to this where it shows that Pex survived the explosion.
Yeah. Oh, Big Finish, get on that. I'm surprised they've not.
Clive Merrison was in Tomb of the Cybermen, I believe.
What did he play in that?
He was the captain's assistant.
Oh, okay.
Captain Hopper's assistant, that guy. I think it was called Jim, that's it, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I recognise him now, yeah.
Yeah, I think he gets a cyber mat on his neck while he's sleeping and the doctor smacks it off.
Yeah.
And again, going back to its Gridlock is kind of a remake of this for the 21st century. Again, you've got something horrible lurking underground.
Yeah, yeah.
Though here, there's no drug references in this one.
No, yeah, I always thought that the drug references in Gridlock, they come really close to the mark, I think.
They do, yeah. Which it did kind of fly over my head a bit as a kid, especially that line where I think Martha says, "Are they selling drugs?" I think they're selling moose. Same thing, isn't it?
Yes,
yeah. And also that that bliss drug that pretty much killed the entire population. I think that and that story and Nightmare in Eden, they're the only ones that have gone Doctor Who doing drug abuse or drug smuggling.
Yeah. Isn't there a Big Finish audio where Ace takes LSD in Ibiza or something? I'm sure I've heard this before.
If there is, I don't think I've listened to it, no.
It's like they go to Ibiza and Ace gets absolutely shit-faced on LSD or something ridiculous like that. It's like early Big Finish when they were trying to be edgy.
Remember Watch Mojo? They did a top 10 list. The top 10 films to watch while high.
Oh.
Yay, encourage people to smoke drugs.
Depends what state you're in, I guess, wherever it's legal these days. I can never keep up.
I know the violence in this did get criticism, especially when they're holding knives, because I think just before this story aired, there was concerns of, I think, again, street gangs and knife crime. So I think when it was sold overseas, it was edited down significantly.
Well, that makes sense, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, these two play it. They are genuinely sinister. They switch from like kind and silly to like really sinister really well.
Yeah, and especially when the one of them dies and the other one goes, "Oh, you naughty girl."
Yeah,
something like that. Just wow. Yeah, I think Stephen Wyatt was a terrific writer for the series, and
I think so.
I only wish he came back, because I mean, I think Greatest Show is the best Seventh Doctor story.
I think it's fantastic. It's such a good story.
And I wonder, is the Whiz Kid supposed to be Chris Chibnall? I know. Obviously, it represents those long-term Doctor Who fans who are never satisfied.
Yeah,
but with the fact that he's wearing glasses, talking in quite a nerdy voice, was he supposed to be Chris Chibnall, the guy who criticised it on Open Air?
Maybe. I mean, if he wasn't directly meant to be him, he's definitely inspired by him. No doubt about it.
Although I never got to see the early days, and I know it's not as good as it used to be, but I'm still terribly interested.
Yeah.
I guarantee if you did that story today, you'd get those man-baby morons saying, "The show insults its audience!"
Oh, absolutely.
I feel insulted!
Jesus.
Totally unprofessional! Totally unprofessional. Now I'm going to carry on and call these people idiots and act like they've personally violated me.
Yeah.
And looking back on it, the McCoy era does remind me a lot, from a writing standpoint, it does remind me a lot of the Whittaker era, because, you know, aside from one writer, all the writers are new. And with McCoy, it was Pip and Jane Baker, who had written previous stories.
Yeah.
For Whittaker, it's Chris Chibnall, if you count him, because obviously he's written previous Doctor Who stories.
Yeah.
Whereas all the other writers, it's their first try. Also, the what is it? Here's to the Future documentary is really good as well. That's a terrific overlook of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does allow me to have more sympathy for this season because there was literally 8 weeks of pre-production when usually there's what, a year.
Yeah.
when you're making a Doctor Who season, because I think when JNT finished work on season 23, it was understood that he was leaving, and he'd basically taken leave, made no plans for a next season, assuming his successor would take it up. Pretty much had come off of BBC leave to do his pantomime, and I think Jonathan Powell said, "Okay, we need you to do the next season, and you start production in 8 weeks. Have fun, John."
Oh, it must have been a nightmare.
He had no scripts, no doctor, no script editor. He was pretty much scrambling for what he could find.
You've got to kind of appreciate the fact that this season is as coherent as it is.
Yeah, true. And also, I've said this before, but I like how he had the guts to go on TV and face his criticisms, because I'm glad they included the open air episode that looked over this season with people phoning in saying in fact the biggest complaints from that is people moaning about the time schedule, saying it's on too late for and the criticism Sylvester McCoy got was completely unfair, calling him Wally of the Week. Calling him, honestly, the newspapers call him Wally of the Week. They say the Doctor has never been portrayed as thick before. It is awful pantomime and a travesty.
Wow. Right,
And the people who phoned in, some of them were quite positive. They said they really liked McCoy as the Doctor and they thought the series was getting better.
Yeah.
But then, of course, usual suspect Ian Levine had to butt in.
Of course.
In Doctor Who Bulletin, I think it was called, and said, these phone calls were clearly designed to be sycophantic.
Yeah, they're not my Doctor.
I can't comprehend people thinking differently to me.
Yeah, they're not my Doctor lot, I think. They've always been around in one form or another.
Yep. And there is that other open air appearance, which is on disc 5 of Delta and the Bannerman, with Ian Levine and Jeremy Bentham, I think his name is, just slamming the recent series. And honestly, I think JNT did have a fair comment by saying, I think the memory does cheat sometimes. Like, you think back to an era you grew up with and you think it's all perfect, when in actuality it has problems like every other era of the show.
Exactly. Nothing is... Every bit of TV at the end of the day is a bit of TV, and that's never going to be perfect. It's always...
Exactly, yeah.
And that is actually a podcast, I believe. There's a podcast called The Memory Cheats, and it comes from that quote that JNT said.
Ah, good, yeah.
And it's... I haven't listened to it in a few years, but from what I can remember, it was two guys. They would spin the wheel on a story that they've not seen in years, and kind of see what they think of it now in comparison to what they used to think of it.
Yeah,
it was quite a good podcast. I remember. I don't know if they're still going, but. So the guy from Tomb of the Cybermen, he does remind me a lot of John Deacon from Queen. I don't know why, I just get that vibe from him.
And again, despite all this, she just looks for a map to get to the swimming pool.
Yeah. Not get back to the TARDIS and hide in there until it all blows over. No, he's got to go to the swimming pool.
Yep. Back to the TARDIS, have a cup of tea, and wait for all this to blow over.
The world building in this is great as well. The whole the dialect that these characters use, like the unalive instead of dead, and ice hot and everything,
also,
works really well.
Yeah, and also I like how Crowagnon, despite being evil, he's designed positive sounding tower blocks, like Miracle City, I think one of them's called, and things like that. And I think it's cool how how he'll make these buildings. He just doesn't want people to live in them.
For sure, yeah.
And I also love this interrogation scene coming up, because it starts with the chief caretaker in control, and by the end it's the Doctor.
Yeah, it's a really nice dynamic, and I think it's one of those moments where you can see what McCoy would become.
If they do extended cuts for season 25, that would make season 20 Survival, the only McCoy era that doesn't have an extended cut.
Yeah, which
would be a shame.
It is a shame. It's sort of... Yeah, I don't know. Does that footage just not exist, or was there not enough budget to... I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm willing to bet it's going to be season 20 next. I know that's a common thing to say. Heck, I think people have been saying that since season 18 was coming out.
I think,
Cause it's been 3 years since we've had a 5th Doctor season.
It has,
Season 19 was released December 2018. Just wow.
His era is very underrepresented so far. And I don't know if you saw recently, Chris Chapman tweeted, he was place your bets on what the next Blu-ray set is going to be, and somebody said season 20, and he went, to be fair, people have been saying season 20 for the last 3 years.
They have, yeah. I genuinely thought, when they did season 12 and then 19, I thought they'd go in Doctor debut seasons of what they could do, so season 22, then 24. Yeah, because I'm just thinking, the last 3 seasons have been a Tom Baker, John Pertwee and Sylvester McCoy season, so so I'm willing to bet it will be season 20.
I hope so. I do hope so. If only for the 5 Doctors more than anything else. I just want that on Blu-ray, because I think it would look excellent.
Yeah.
Do another special edition.
Special Platinum edition.
Yeah.
And my favourite Doctor Who story of all time is the 5 Doctors Duel. I know it's not been made yet, but I know it's going to be awesome. Not gonna lie, I do quote that Come Fly With Me when I'm not talking about films but Doctor Who stories, trying to introduce a new fan to classic. Go, oh my god, Genesis of the Daleks, have you seen Genesis of the Daleks? You haven't seen Genesis of the Daleks? You're gay, man. I'm not joking, man. You're gay.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, this dynamic is great. The 7th Doctor is now completely in charge.
Yeah, exactly. It's a nice role reversal, I think. The whole situation has just been reversed. It's a lot like the Doctor and Davros scenes from Genesis, I think. Yeah,
because it's a much more confident introduction, I think, than Time and the Rani, because in that he's just... I get he's got post-regeneration trauma, but he's just too much of an idiot. It's like, he can't see through the Rani's obvious disguise, and he keeps getting all those proverbs wrong, which it just gets old really quickly.
Yeah.
What's worse, having a Doctor that strangles his companions, or a Doctor that can't tell who his companion is?
well, that's the thing, isn't it? I feel like because, like you said, the pre-production was so messy, it feels like they just wrote as broad a Doctor as they can, like as broad a post-regenerative Doctor as they could.
Well, I've learnt recently that Pip and Jane Baker's idea to kill off the 6th Doctor was when the missile explodes in part 4, the Doctor was going to sacrifice himself to stop the missile blowing up, but he gets caught in it and obviously regenerates.
Oh, okay.
But in the final version, obviously it's changed to, I think, Bayer sacrificing himself to stop the missile launching, and I think that would have been a good way for the Sixth Doctor to go.
It would have been good. It would have been nice. It would have been better than what we got, anyway.
Apparently, Pip and Jane Baker did get...
Yeah.
How did they tie those guards up without the Doctor noticing?
Yes.
Was he really focusing on the TV that much?
Yeah.
Did they say, "We've tied them up, Doctor"? Just put his finger up, being like,
Wait a minute.
"Right, let's go." What ifs for me was what if the BBC allowed Colin Baker to do season 24? I think that's what he asked for.
Yeah. It would have been interesting, and it would have been deserved.
Have you seen the Delta and the Bannerman rap part?
I haven't yet. I've seen clips from it. It looks like a lot of fun.
You're definitely deep into Doctor Who. Discovered that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just great. They do that. There's a song called "If I Were Not Upon the Stage, This Is What I Would Be." They change it to "If I Were Not at the BBC, Something Else I'd Rather Be." And one of them. It's one of the crew members in a Hawaiian shirt taking the piss out of JNT, saying, "These overruns, they're so endearing."
Well, that's it, because wasn't Delta and the Bannermen Delta and the Bannermen was a massive shoot all on its own, wasn't it? It was a really long shoot.
2 to 3 weeks all on location, I think, and they probably deserve to have a big celebration party at the end, because 3-parters of the McCoy era, they were all made as part of the same block, because they have the same director and on them. Just one is all studio, one is all location. 25, it's Silver Nemesis and the House Patrol. 26, it's Slight and Survival. Name's Golden Dream Park. Perpetual Motion. Soul City.
You know, watching this now, the Cro-Magnon voice, it just reminds me of the dad from Fear Her. I'm coming to get you, Chloe.
So weird. The painting for Cro-Magnon, I'd argue, is more threatening than the painting for the...
Yes.
So bad. At least they don't defeat Cro-Magnon singing.
Yeah. Oh god, Fear Her is just so naff.
Fucking singing!
It's so naff.
Oh yeah, people say the Sixth Doctor was unlikable, but he never took... I mean, a man just faints and the Doctor just takes the torch bearer's torch as if it's a moment of glory. That poor guy's been waiting for that all his life, and here comes some smug trench coat to steal his moment of glory.
Doesn't even check on him, make sure he's alright, just nicks it.
Yeah, he just says, yoink, and goes, woo.
That episode looks like shit as well, because the saturation seems to have been cranked up to 11, so it looks awful. It's one of the.
Well, the thing is, it was shot in the. Yeah, I mean, Doco Ho, who does reviews on his blog, said it genuinely looks like the cast just walked into a suburban street and decided, let's film here for a bit.
Yeah, the whole. I think the CGI of the scribble creature looks quite good, but that's.
Yeah.
And I like the visuals of like the drawings coming to life and stuff. That's about the only good visual bits of that episode. The whole thing just looks like shit. Like the way it's been graded, and it just is horrible to look at.
Goodbye, Chloe Webber. I love you. On Chloe Webber. I mean, I usually don't try to slag off actors because I am one, and I think it's a bit unfair because I know how hard it is. But that girl is terrible.
Yeah, she's not great.
Well, me and Rebel Hoovian have done a commentary for that, so check out all the groaning on that.
Yeah, I have listened to it. Yeah, it's very.
Should have ended. Amanda Hagen did a review of it, and she did an edit where the Doctor and Rose go to the house. Hello, I'm the Doctor. This is Rose. Could we see your daughter? No, you can't. Okay, bye. End credits.
It also dated very, very quickly because it was only 6 years. It was only 6 years before the bloody Olympics, and it looked nothing like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and they filmed it in winter, and it was supposed to be the middle of summer. But there's a line in it where it says, "Well, it's been sucking in all the heat it can." Well, there is this theory about Kel. He's a member of the High Council of the Time Lords because he says, "You took a council X from a council van and you're digging up a council road. I'm reporting you to the council."
Oh, brilliant line. Masterpiece of a line.
Say council one more. Plus, I like the names for the Kangs, like Fire Escape, Bin Liner.
Yeah, it's very... Yeah.
It is kind of a kid-friendly version of a Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, The Mind of Evil does have a lot of Clockwork Orange vibes to it, with the whole rehabilitating criminals and making them nicer.
Yes, I agree there, but that definitely... Yeah.
It just looks like the most average swimming pool ever.
I know,
and I love
yeah.
how she's so enthusiastic.
It just looks like a standard swimming pool. It's just... Oh, it's just how I imagined it.
A normal swimming pool. Like, if you really wanted to go swimming, why don't you just go back to Earth and go in the baths for a few hours?
Yeah. Surely
it's not even a water slide or a diving board.
Last time we checked, the TARDIS has a swimming pool.
Oh yeah, it does.
In the bloody Invasion of Time.
Yeah, unless in Castrovalva it was ejected.
Oh yeah.
But then again, River Song dives into it in Day of the Moon.
Weren't they going to do...
And the 11th Doctor mentions it in the 11th Hour.
Well, I was going to say, weren't they going to make that swimming pool quite a big thing? Like, they were going to do quite a few scenes in there, but Karen Gillan couldn't swim. So they just scrapped that idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure I've heard that she couldn't swim, so they scrapped that idea completely. But it was going to be like a recurring thing that they were going to do so many scenes in the swimming pool.
I love how scared he is of his
yeah.
Of Croagnon. He's like, I don't want to understand my beauty. Please don't do this. Yeah, it's just when he becomes Croagnon, he sounds like he's drunk.
Yes, it
Law free, complete.
Yeah.
Or two, complete. No one will be allowed in Paradise Towers. He sounds like a drunk fat controller from Thomas the Tank Engine. You're a very naughty cleaner. Plus, I like the dry ice as well.
Yeah, it works really well. It does work very well.
Again, him going under that thingy kind of looks like a game show.
It does, yeah.
There's a bit stars in their eyes, isn't it?
Yeah. So, a lot of this reminds me of like a laser tag arena.
That cliffhanger's a bit naff because of the Doctor's face. Yeah. Well, the original cliffhanger was supposed to be the line, "I'll put an end to you and everyone in Paradise Towers."
Which works a lot better, I think.
It's just not Dragonfire Part 1.
Oh, yeah.
That's something not even the extended cut could solve. It's just...
It just doesn't even explain it, does it? It's just...
Yeah, well, I think the original cliffhanger was supposed to be Mel and Ace seeing the dragon thing and Mel going, ah, and screaming.
Yeah.
But I think it underran, so they just decided, screw it, just make the... Seventh Doctor hang off a cliff
for no reason.
Textual.
For literally no reason for him to be doing that at all.
Yeah. I mean, I looked. Robert Sherman. He was on Mr. TARDIS Review's channel just as of yesterday. As an interview, and he said he was in sixth form when this season came out, 17, 18 years old, and he says he despised it.
Oh God, okay.
And again, because he was saying, when you're younger, you think Doctor Who should be this mature, grown-up thing, and there should be no joy whatsoever. But he's obviously mellowed out, and he said, I find seasons that are more problematic, or ones that are more creaky in terms of episodes, because there's probably a more interesting story of how they got to the screen.
Yeah.
Because if you look at, say, the Philip Hinchcliffe years, I can't really recall a production being like a nightmare for them or anything like that, because I think everything ran smoothly. But if you look at the Graham Williams era, particularly in season 17 or 16, it's a very different story.
Yeah, for sure. It's and of course, I imagine a lot of that went along with Tom Baker's ego, and that was the beginning of that rising up.
Yeah, and going back to the DVD range, it amazes me that this story, Shock Horror, managed to get its own DVD release.
Yes, yeah.
Because they put Dragonfire and the Happiness Patrol in a box set.
Yeah, they did, yeah. I'm shocked that this wasn't bundled in with... I don't know. What could they have bundled it in with? Mal Tales? And bundled it in with... I don't know.
Yeah, Delta and the Bannerman.
Yeah.
Yeah, it amazes me that so many of those lowly regarded stories were mashed together.
Yeah, it was just done to boost sales, wasn't it? It was just like no bugger's gonna buy Time Flight.
Oh, you didn't like the Time Monster? Well, we're gonna put Underworld and the Horns of Nimon with it.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's about to crack into song.
Yeah. Hey, bury me away.
Please release me. Oh my god, he kind of looks like the prisoner Charles Bronson there. You fucking cunts! It's funny, in season 24, the Doctor and Mel are separated quite a lot.
Yeah.
In the stories, which, so they never really seem to got a chance to shine that much together.
Yeah.
It's why I tend to associate Mel more with the Sixth Doctor, because look at a story like Terror of the Vervoids and Ultimate Foe, they're more together in those stories.
Yeah, you're right.
And also, Mel is the second classic Doctor Who companion to have all those stories available on Blu-ray.
Yeah, the first was Adric, wasn't it?
Yep.
So arguably the two least regarded companions of the classic series are the ones that were the first to have all their stories available.
Yes, just when you thought it was safe to get back in the water, you get attacked by a giant rubber crab. Yeah, I suppose the robot crab, it must have been hard to film, because filming underwater is always hard.
No, yeah.
Yeah, apparently there was divers in there with cameras, and they also had to work the robot cleaner as well to look like it was alive.
Yeah, it's a lot of work for something that's quite inconsequential, isn't it?
Plus, I love how it's bright yellow.
Yeah, I know.
It's got such a friendly colour. They didn't paint it black or white. It just looks so friendly.
It's really Bonnie Langford selling it.
Yeah. Plus, I love that. Pex, get help! Help! Help!
Yeah.
I like the robot's point of view there, of the eye going.
Yes, yeah, it's quite cool. It's a cool effect.
Sinking to the bottom. I do forget that this story does have location footage with what we've just seen at the swimming pool.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's because they've switched to videotape for both location and studio.
Yeah, it's a shame because there's no longer a distinction, which...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though apparently it was because of the two doctors, you know, where they had to refilm that scene in Spain on film. And film is more expensive, that JNT decided, right, for the next season we're going to film on video for everything. Yeah, that's what I like about Pex. He wants to be a hero, but he doesn't know how to.
Yeah. It's quite a... He's quite a nice character, I think. He's quite...
Yeah.
I'm surprised like I said earlier, I joked earlier, but I am surprised Big Finish haven't done anything with him.
I mean, I want to spin off with Soldeed and Zaroff.
Yes, yeah.
Or maybe one with Green and Asquith from the Slovene two-parter.
That would be pretty spectacular as well.
By all the saints, it's a perspective, woman! I'm busy! Funnily enough, Rob Sherman did say in that recent interview, you know, people came up to me and said, "Oh, I loved your episode Dalek. It was so much better than that immature story about the Slovene."
Yeah.
And he said, and he was like, "That surprised me because a lot of people seem to assume that I usurped Russell or something, or I made Dalek intentionally dark to upset him."
No.
It's just when they say comments like that and think the writer's on their side or something,
Yeah.
or the writer understands them. It's like they don't. Yeah, I think they know about the other scripts. They don't exist in a vacuum.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's not that. Yeah. There's always the head writer and the showrunner, especially, is always overseeing these scripts. Always.
Yeah, I'd love to see Stephen Wyatt write another script for the series. In
Yeah,
fact,
it would be cool.
When Series 10 was coming out and they announced, "Oh, a classic Who writer is writing for the series," I thought, please be Stephen Wyatt.
Yes, yeah. There was a lot of speculation about that, and I don't think anyone ever expected it to be Ronan Monroe.
Yeah. I did say please be Steve. I did tweet, I think, "Oh, I'd love for it to be Stephen Wyatt." Then some clever little twat decided to reply and say, "Yeah, but Paradise Towers." I'm like, it's for pissing on my bonfire.
Yeah.
I think some people's attitude needs to change. For example, I'd argue mine has a bit. You know, if someone's positive about an episode that I don't like, often I just let them enjoy it. You know, I don't reply saying, "I think it's terrible," because, for example, in the lockdown in January, February, they were doing a tweet along to Love and Monsters, a story that a lot of people know that I don't like.
Yeah.
And rather than join in and be critical of it, I just thought, you know what, I'm going to let people who like the story enjoy it.
Well, there you go. It's on Twitter these days. I really don't see the point of getting into an argument about something. I never, because I just think it's a bit of a dick move as well. To just, when people are tweeting about how much they enjoy something, to just comment and go, "Well, I think it's shit," or "What about this? What about that?" It's just like, come on. There's no point. Like, it's not going to get you anywhere. You're not going to change someone. I think it was somebody tweeted the other day. I can't remember who it was, but it was they said you're not going to change somebody's opinion in 280 characters.
Exactly.
It's not going to make a difference. So just let people enjoy things. And I think that's a thing about getting older as well. I think you just sort of realise that
your attitude just mellows out, and you realise that at the end of the day, it's people making a TV show, which you can be critical of. Just don't be an arsehole.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said earlier, I just didn't join in for tweet-alongs of episodes I didn't like. I just didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I just didn't bother, because what's the point?
Well, actually, I like how the Doctors united them all together, all the Resis and all the Kangs, despite them being completely different.
Yeah, it's a nice progression.
I wonder, are there more female characters in this than male?
I think so. Yeah, probably, because of all the Kangs, for one thing. That probably make up the majority of the...
I mean, one of the biggest surprises on the Here's to the Future documentary was Malcolm Cole showing up for when they discussed Delta and the Bannerman. I'm surprised he wasn't on the actual making of documentary. He could have because I'd love to have known where he got his ideas and inspiration from for Delta and the Bannerman, and had he seen Doctor Who before, what did he think of it, things like that.
Yeah, sure.
That's why I call people who don't like this story cowardly cutlets.
Yeah. It's a good description.
I think he drank a load of beer before doing this.
I don't think it'd be so bad without the like the grunts make it. It's just weird.
Yeah, it's because the big booming voice that we saw at the start just all seems to have gone.
Yeah.
Again, he just sounds drunk.
I think it'd be better if they overdubbed his voice.
Yeah, that would be cool.
It would have been better.
With with the modulated big booming voice.
Yeah.
I like how they're all getting on now.
Yeah, it's a nice It's
just throwing high fives at each other. It's just so awesome.
It really is a nice progression. I really like it. All gone a bit war games there. The swimming pool zone.
90. Have you seen the Doctor's Table yet? But for this story,
I haven't. No.
Yeah, it's really good. They've got Sylvester McCoy, Bonnie Langford, Sophie Aldred, and Clive Merrison, who plays the deputy caretaker.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they did one for season 23 and for season 25. I think it'd be cool if they got the Doctor, Ace, the guy who plays Gilmore, Simon Williams, is that his name?
Yes, Simon Williams, yeah.
Maybe the guy who played the Candyman, or David Banks as the cyber leader.
That would be cool, actually.
And I hope for season 25 for Silver Nemesis, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think they did an extended version for VHS.
They did, yeah, and it's never been released since. So I would love to see that.
And there was that documentary made by an American company called The Making of Doctor Who, which went into full detail about the making of Silver Nemesis, and you can find a few clips of it on YouTube. I mean, the quality's not perfect, but fingers crossed they release it for season 25 and clean it up.
I hope so. I mean, I can't imagine another point where they could do it. I think it's the perfect opportunity.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, for season 8, they didn't do. Was it Return to Devil's End, that video release?
Yeah, they didn't.
The 90s?
Yeah, they didn't do that. Yeah.
That baffles me.
I think it was Rights issue because I think that was done by. Was it Real Time Pictures?
Something like that, yeah.
Rights thing. I don't know. It is a shame though.
You're tearing me apart, Doctor. Why, Doctor, why, you twat? Oh, it's clearly blinded. Why did you need that at all?
I was going to say, just shoot it. It would be far more efficient.
I won't be unbrave again. Me fail English? That's impossible. I won! Also, the bit where Croagnon grabs the Doctor and just slams him against the wall, it's funny, but just like, Jesus Christ, he's really battering the shit out of him. Yeah. Plus, it's interesting with McCoy's screen test that he's against a female dictator, and what's Andrew Cartmel famous for saying about why he wanted to be script editor? I want to bring down the government.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, I might try and say that in my next job interview. I want to bring down the government. See if it works. Only just start enjoying in this body, yeah, but you look like you can't move it.
Yeah.
You look drunk.
It's his eyes like going all over the place.
Yeah. Plus, I realise nearly all the main villains in this story are humanoid in some way.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
In this season, I mean, yeah, because you've got the Rani, Gavrok in Delta, and Kane in Dragonfire.
Hmm.
I mean, if they're supposed to... I mean, if Red and Blue Kangs are supposed to be Labour and Tories, that's completely unrealistic that they'd actually collaborate and work together. Totally unrealistic. I mean, if the Chief Caretaker seems to be based on Adolf Hitler, I'd argue if it was made today, the Chief Caretaker would be Boris Johnson.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If you did Paradise Towers today.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Garbage dirt!
Should have shaken his fist. Shake harder, boy! Do you really think that was going to work? Just giving him such a light push.
It's really...
slamming him against the door.
Yeah.
Just like, what was that for? I'm trying to knock you out. And then he knocks him against the door. Not Pex, no.
It doesn't help bloody Richard Pryor's face as he falls down the...
Yeah, if this was in season 22, all of them would be dead.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. Doctor, we did good, right? Of course we did. It's just everyone's dead. Let's go. Yeah, again, it's a more optimistic note that the tower can reunite everyone and no one has to be separated by groups.
Yeah, well, like you said, if this was season 22, everyone would be dead. Like it really marks the change in tone between the 6th and 7th Doctor eras.
And also, you know, we're barely in the TARDIS, which is why, funnily enough, if they did a story like The Doctor's Wife in the 7th Doctor era, I don't think it would work as much, because the 7th Doctor, he, out of all of them, he has, in my opinion, the least connection to the TARDIS.
I think, yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, the 5th Doctor has only one story where he's not inside the TARDIS, and that's Kinder, where we don't go into the interior.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, McCoy acting with, like, Saran Jones, you can't imagine it. And he's getting emotional at the end, you know.
Ah, we're gonna build the TARDIS. Where are my spoons? I love that Pex lives.
It's a nice note to end on, I think. It's a really nice note.
Yeah, So yeah, that was Paradise Towers. I really enjoy it. It's my favourite of the season, and yeah, it was great watching the extended edition because I just think it brings more life to the stories.
It does, yeah. Even though they're only minor additions, you know, it all adds up. It all adds up. It's a good story. I think my favourite of the season is probably Delta and the Bannermen, just for how mental it is and just fun it is. But it's a really. I don't think I've ever appreciated the world building as much before. Because there's such a great world that's being brought here. I'm surprised we haven't returned to Paradise Towers.
And I think when I was younger, I said it was the only good story of season 24, and I think that's because it was a lot darker than the other three.
It's true.
And again, as I've said, I've grown to like Delta more, just about how rock and roll it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's Paradise Towers. It's a good story. It is a good story. I'm glad it's got like like I said right at the start of the commentary. It has got a reappraisal over the years, I think, which is cool. I think it's nice that its reputation has grown. So, we have now done our second batch of Doctor Who stories. What will we be moving on to next time?
Next time, we will be going back to superhero movies, where we'll be looking at Spider-Man. This includes all of them. The Raimi trilogy, the Mark Webb films, the MCU films, and Into the Spider-Verse. No, we're not doing Venom.
No, I was going to say we're not doing Venom. I cannot wait for this. Anyone that knows me will know I'm a massive webhead, so let's go. So yeah, look forward to the start of the Spider-Man commentaries next time. In the meantime, go subscribe to Isaac's channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.